Hey guys, this is Boob Comics, and today I'm going to be reviewing Uzumaki. So the author of Uzumaki is Junji Ito, who looks like a total normal guy. Looks kind of handsome, looks like an accountant, looks pretty chill. But after these comics, after reading Uzumaki, I'm just like, what is wrong with this Japanese man? So Junji Ito comes from the Gifu prefecture of Japan, where as a kid he only dabbled in drawing, making small mangas for himself, but he never saw this as an actual career. Most artists don't see their artistry as a career. Like, I have family in art, and they're like struggling. They're struggling to eat, paint, because you just make so little. So they're just like, well, I guess I'll work in a more serious job. So Junji Ito worked as a dental technician. He drew manga from time to time, taking inspiration from Kazu Umezu, a Japanese horror artist who is most famous for his comic The Drifting Classroom, which I still need to check out. Junji Ito mostly made short stories. He didn't really see much of these comics, but he took a large inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft, who was an American author really famous for his short stories, the most famous being Call of Cthulhu, which everyone knows it's like a tentacle beast that once he wakes up the world ends and blah. Anyway. So Junji Ito decided to quit dentistry after he submitted a comic to this competition, and he got an honorable mention, and he was like, whoa, I can actually do this for a living. I can show my twisted mind to the whole world. So for a manga to come from Japan to America in like a really nice hardcover comic book form, it's got to be fairly popular. So Uzumaki is probably his most famous work in the Western world, but he does have some other works. One in America is called Gyo, which is available on Amazon, but they're actually coming out with like a nice hardcover, which I'm excited about. So that's coming up. I think it's coming out in like a few days, or actually now, when this video is going to be posted. But he also has some other works that have been translated in English, such as Fragments of Horror, which I still haven't read yet, and Tomi, which was his original work. But what's also weird is Nintendo contacted Junji Ito to make a Pokemon manga. And I'm just like, Nintendo, why? Why you gotta do this? I mean, kids, they can't take this. I mean, look at that. What is that? I'm scared. This is like nightmare fuel for the kids of our generation. They don't get like Alone in the Dark, no. They get Junji Ito. So this is bad. So Uzumaki is based around two high school students, a girl named Kirigashima and her boyfriend Tsuchisato. It takes place in a town called Kurozocho, and throughout the whole book, it just has this really eerie setting to it. And the book starts off with Kiri's dad going insane. He starts obsessing over spirals. Like, he's getting consumed by his obsession over spirals. It's like freaky. Like, his eyes start turning, his tongue gets twisted. And eventually he just twists himself into like a basket, and that's where everything just starts getting insane. So the whole story is based off on these really small short stories. There's some with zombies, there's some with kids turning to snails. My favorite being the girl who ate herself, because it was just so funny to me. And that's what's really cool about this book. It's like there's all these short stories. You never really get bored. There's always something horrific and new, and it's just so interesting. And they all build up to this crazy like climax. Everything kind of comes together. But what really soured this whole book for me was the ending, because the ending is like, oh, they're going to explain everything, it's all going to make sense, they're like, spirals, why are spirals evil? But no, Junji Ito was like, I'm going to go with the corny ending. He went with the corny ending, and it's saddening. I finished the book, and I was like, I am so sad, because it was such a good book, but the ending was so corny and sad, like a bad sad. Like, I was sad that he wrote that ending. That just really soured the book for me. So honestly, if you rip out the last page, it'd be a better ending. Make up your own ending. Don't use the official ending. So I really like the art in this book. It's very refreshing to see kind of something not so industrialized. I'm not a big fan of manga because everything is just so similar. The style, the big eyes, the crazy pointy hair. But Uzumaki is just so creepy. It's its own unique style, and it really works to its advantage. Like the shadowing in this book is insane. It really adds a lot to the setting. The spirals are like super spot on, and that's such a big part of the book. So if you drew crappy spirals, this book would suck. But his spirals are insane, and it's great. This is the closest thing to fan service. I mean, look at those boobs. They're beautiful. My final thought for Uzumaki is 7 out of 10.